joined now by Ambassador William Taylor. He is the former ambassador to Ukraine. As a diplomat, take us inside that room. What is it like? It's got to be tense. How do we see this breakthrough in such a short amount of time?
It's interesting that the breakthrough came not long after it was clear that the European Union was going to apply sanctions against people who are behind the violence. We Americans had put together our set of sanctions and travel bans. I believe that the pressure both from the street and from the international community was there putting pressure on both sides to come to an agreement, but certainly most on President Yanukovych. A
senior State Department official briefed journalists on the phone late today and said that the United States have been very active in the last couple of days behind the scenes. And I guess that gets really kind of at the heart of the question. How much of this is diplomacy? How much of it is the pressure of the protests, the violence itself, perhaps losing the faith of the people in the country?
I really believe that the principal focus and the principal push and the principal pressure was from the people of Ukraine on President Yanukovych. He saw the violence. Ukraine is not a violent country. The Ukrainians are not violent people. They all wanted to pull back from that. I believe President Yanukovych did, certainly the protesters did, and that led, principally, that was the push that led to the agreement.
You hear Jack Barton saying that the protesters aren't satisfied with this. They want him gone. What's the likelihood of that?
I think there's a certainty that he'll be gone. He'll last
quickly enough for them, though?
Not quickly enough for them. There's a lot of emotion on the street. A lot of people died. They have friends and relatives and fathers and sons who died. And that has really been a crisis for them. So it's going to take some time for this to kind of calm down a little bit, to realize that they have succeeded. That they have succeeded on the square, and that this man, this president that was elected before, is not going to be there in 5 months, 8 months. He may not be there in a week, but it is probably not going to be fast enough for them.
Tymoshenko being released. Well, let's just talk about the parliament itself. A dramatic change in just a matter of a couple of days. Sweeping legislation, signed quickly, passed quickly. Remarkable to see, isn't it?
Very remarkable, very remarkable. But again, I believe that the Ukrainian people, including those legislators, didn't want to see the continuation of the violence, of people dying. This was clear from the legislators. It was clear from the big business people, the businessmen, the oligarchs, had made it pretty clear that they were not supporting any of the crackdown on the people. So all of this combined to change the president's mind, to change the legislature's mind. People walked out of the Party of Regions, the president's party, and voted the other way. They voted to release Mrs. Tymoshenko. They voted to make changes to the Constitution.
Ambassador Taylor, thanks so much for your observations.